Once upon a time, there was a sweet little girl named Chloe, but everyone called her Little Red Riding Hood. They called her Little Red Riding Hood because she always wore the little red riding hood that her Aunt Debbie had given her. So for the sake of our story, we'll call her Little Red Riding Hood too. Little Red Riding Hood lived in a brown house just outside the forest. She lived with her mommy, her daddy, and her big brother Niko. But this story is not about her daddy or her big brother. This story is about Chloe, or as everyone calls her, Little Red Riding Hood. One day, Little Red Riding Hood's mommy told her to take a basket full of goodies to her grandmother's house. Little Red Riding Hood's mommy said to her, "Take this basket full of goodies to Abuelita." Abuelita is an affectionate way of saying grandmother in Spanish, but you may have already known that. Anyway, Little Red Riding Hood's mommy continued with her instructions to Chloe. "Go straight to Abuelita's house and don't stop along the way. Be very careful and make sure you don't talk to any strangers." Just then, Niko interrupted and started to ask his mother, "Why would you send a little girl like Chloe out alone all by herself? That doesn't even make any sense." But I reminded Niko that he was not a part of this story. So Niko went back to his bedroom to play alone. Then Little Red Riding Hood went off with the basket full of goodies and her mother's instructions to go straight to Abuelita's house. She stayed straight on the path and was being very careful. But then she saw the prettiest flowers. "They are so beautiful," exclaimed Chloe. Little Red Riding Hood. "Abuelita just loves flowers, and she would be so happy if I brought her some of these." Forgetting what her mother told her, Little Red Riding Hood went off the path to pick the flowers. After walking a short distance from the path, Little Red Riding Hood noticed that there were flowers even more pretty than the first ones just a short distance farther off the path. "Those flowers are even more beautiful than the other ones," she said. Well, as you might have guessed, soon Little Red Riding Hood was very far from the path, finding even more beautiful flowers to pick for Abuelita. As Little Red Riding Hood stooped down to pick some of the most beautiful flowers she had ever seen, a big wolf came up behind her. The wolf startled Little Red Riding Hood. She quickly stood up straight and began to walk quickly away from the wolf when he called out to her, "Hello there, little girl. How are you this fine morning?" "I'm sorry," said Little Red Riding Hood, "but I can't speak to strangers." "Stranger?" said the wolf. "Why, I'm no stranger. My name is Lobo, and I live around here. In fact, I've lived here all my life. I'm no stranger. I'm a friend. Can you talk to friends?" "Well, I guess I can talk to friends," said Little Red Riding Hood. And then she greeted the wolf, saying, "Good morning, Mr. Lobo." "What is your name, little girl?" asked the wolf. "My name is Chloe, but everyone calls me Little Red Riding Hood." "What lovely names," said the wolf. "Chloe and Little Red Riding Hood. They are two wonderful sounding names. Where are you going this fine morning, if I may ask?" said the wolf. "I'm going to take this basket of goodies to my Abuelita," said Little Red Riding Hood. "Abuelita?" said the wolf. "Where does she live? I think I know her." "She lives in a little green cottage with a wonderful garden filled with beautiful flowers. It's in the middle of the forest, not too far from here," said Little Red Riding Hood. "Oh," said the wolf, "I know who you're talking about. I know Abuelita very well. I love to walk through her garden whenever I go by her house. I just spoke to her yesterday." The wolf was lying as usual, but Little Red Riding Hood believed him. "Abuelita and I are best of friends," said the wolf. "Won't you let me walk along with you to her house, and I can carry that heavy basket of goodies for you?" Just then, there was a loud bang that sounded as if it had come from a source not too far away. The wolf was suddenly very nervous and afraid. He thought to himself, "Bang means gun, gun means hunter, and hunter means run." So the wolf quickly excused himself, saying, "Oh, I just remembered an important errand I have to do. Sorry, I can't go with you." And the wolf ran off. As Little Red Riding Hood made her way back to the path, she thought to herself that Mr. Lobo was right. The basket of goodies was too heavy for her. She also realized that she was a little hungry. So Little Red Riding Hood reached into the basket and took out all of the fruit snacks that were in there. She ate them up. Thinking to herself that she had done a good job of making the basket a little less heavy, she thought, "Abuelita will be so pleased with these flowers that she won't even miss those silly old fruit snacks." Once Little Red Riding Hood got back on the path, she thought to herself, "This basket is still too heavy for me. I wish Mr. Lobo was here to carry it for me." Then she had a brilliant idea. She would lighten the load even more by eating all the cookies. After all, she thought, "I don't think Abuelita even likes cookies." So she reached into the basket and grabbed all the cookies. They were delicious. Chloe continued on her way to Abuelita's house with the basket, now not so full of goodies, and the beautiful flowers she had picked. In the meantime, that lying big bad wolf took a shortcut to Grandmother's house. He knocked on the door, and Abuelita came to answer it. "Can I help you?" she asked. "Yes," said the wolf. "I need help for my little friend. Her name is Little Red Riding Hood, and she's in trouble. Can I come in and use your phone?" "Little Red Riding Hood in trouble?" said Abuelita. "Come in, of course, quickly. What is the matter with her?" The wolf was about to make up a story to tell Abuelita, but once he was inside the cottage, he decided that story time was over. The wolf knocked poor Abuelita to the floor, tied her up, taped her mouth so she couldn't talk, and stuffed her into the closet. The wolf then quickly put on one of Abuelita's nightgowns and her nightcap and got into her bed. Just then, Little Red Riding Hood came knocking on the door. Who is it?" said the wolf, trying his best to sound like Abuelita. "It's me, Little Red Riding Hood," said Chloe. Come in, the door is open, and I'm much too sick to get out of bed," said the wolf, struggling to soften his wolf voice. Little Red Riding Hood came into the cottage and walked over to Abuelita's bed. "Good morning," said Little Red Riding Hood. Good morning," said the wolf in Grandmother's clothes. "You sound very strange today," said Little Red Riding Hood. "That's because I'm so sick, my dear," said the wolf. "Abuelita, I never noticed this before, but your ears are so very large," said Little Red Riding Hood. "Oh, all the better to hear you with, my dear," said the lying wolf. "And Abuelita, what big, enormous eyes you have," said Little Red Riding Hood. "All the better to see you with, cutie," said the bad wolf. "And Abuelita, what large, sharp teeth you have," said Little Red Riding Hood. "All the better to eat you with, my sweetie," said the big bad wolf as he jumped from the bed and onto Little Red Riding Hood. Little Red Riding Hood screamed for help like only Chloe could scream. And just as the wolf was about to gobble her up, Niko burst into the cottage like a superhero. He was not supposed to be in the story, but like always, he found a way not to be ignored. Niko was as strong as the Hulk and as fast as Flash. He grabbed the wolf before the wolf knew what was happening, and Niko twisted that wolf up like a pretzel. Niko hit the wolf with so many lefts he was begging for a right. He punched him, he crunched him, and he even gave him a wedgie. Then Niko made the wolf tell them what he had done with Abuelita. After finding out that she was tied up in the closet, they rescued her and untied her. Abuelita was very happy to be free, and she was so proud of her two heroes, Chloe and Niko. To punish the wolf for his very bad behavior, Niko told the wolf that he would have to do all the yard work around Abuelita's house and tend to her garden from now on. Then they lived happily ever after. Even the wolf was happy. He found out that he actually liked gardening, and he was very good at it too. The end.